you posted something a few weeks ago, and you said, "Good morning, Earth. This is where we all live together. Do something kind for a stranger today. It's contagious." And I watched a really short documentary called The Overview Effect, and it talked about people such as you that had seen the Earth from space. And one of the themes of the short film was that the original moon mission to the moon, the goal was the moon, but one of the great accomplishments was just seeing Earth from there. And when I see you post things like that, I wonder what it's like for you. I know you spent 166 days in space, and just to continually look down on that piece, how does it change you?
I recently watched the movie Room. And in that, it's the story of some lady who had been kidnapped and kept as a slave, and then she gave birth to a child in this one little shed out in somebody's backyard. Horrible story. But it occurred to me, that child who had been born into that room and had only seen the world through the skylight of this little, extremely confined place, he had an understanding of the world. But his entire world was Room, was that little place, and the weird, non-real images on the television that they were allowed, and then the little glimpse of the sky. That was his understanding of the world. And in reality, all of us live like that. It's just our room may be slightly bigger, or maybe the skylight with which we see the sky is slightly bigger. But to try and actually see the world in its totality, it's virtually impossible. Maybe we can see, a documentary program, or we can read a travel book, or we can look at a coffee table book, or we'll get on an airplane and go somewhere else, and you start to piece together some of the threads of the fabric that is our actual planet. But I've been lucky enough to take sort of the best of our transportation technology that we've ever invented, and to get on board a ship and go around the world in 92 minutes. And not just once, because that would just be a travel documentary. Most of everything would bounce off you because you can't absorb that much information so quickly. But to go around the world 100 times, and then 1,000 times, and not just going around the world, but around the world 16 times a day where it turns underneath you. So every circumnavigation is like another voyage of discovery. And the angle between you and the sun and the world, because of your speed, is constantly changing. And the seasons are changing. I went from one side of the sun to the other, right across the solar system while I was on the space station, right around it. So you saw winter and summer swap ends on the world. And so each time around, you see the world slightly more for what it is, more clearly. And somewhere along the way, in one of those thousands of orbits, I think you fundamentally, I don't know if it's shift or deepen or both, but you start to see the world as what it actually is, which is room, but it's the whole thing. It's one place. This whole thing is just our collective shared room. And we almost all miss that because we're just only able to absorb the confines of the part of it that we're raised with. But I feel hugely privileged to have, without anybody telling me what to think, and without any filters in the way, to actually have seen the whole world over and over and over again until it seeped into me permanently. And it doesn't necessarily give me any outlandish insight or any outlandish imperative to change the world, but I think it does give me a perspective that I feel compelled to try and share, to try and let as many other people. I was there on behalf of a lot of people. It took a lot of lucre to build that rocket ship and accelerate my body to 8 kilometers a second and let me stay there. And so I feel a responsibility to do my best to let other people see what's beyond their room based on the things that I've seen. And that's why I wrote that book you talked about, why I published a book of photographs, why I wrote music about it, why I'm talking to you. I think I've been hugely lucky. And I think we collectively are more liable to make good decisions for ourselves and for where we live, the more clearly we can see the whole thing as one place.
And you started posting these pictures on a whim, really, on Twitter.
Yeah.
You were taking these beautiful photographs from up in space because you see so many.
Well, picture what it's like. You're there with a camera and you're going around the world and you float over to the window and you say, I'm not even going to take a picture today. I just want to look at the world. And you're looking at something, you go, holy, and you got to grab the camera because there's your emotions are trapped behind you. You can't keep up. And you go, I got to take a picture of this so I can look at it later. Because if I don't, it's like one of those super high-speed photographs of a bullet going through a balloon. You wouldn't really understand what's happening if you can't then go back and go, wow, look what actually happened. Look what I really saw. And so you take these pictures, and now you pull the little chip out of the camera, you put it in your zippered up pocket so it doesn't float away. You stick another chip in the camera, and by the end of the day, you've kind of got a whole bunch of those chips. You got like the whole world in your pocket waiting for you to truly look at it. And you go into your quarters and you plug in those little memory chips and you upload them so that NASA can download them during the night. But you flick through them and there is some magnificent, unexpected, intimate view of the world. And now what do you do with that? I mean, you just let yourself go, oh, that's pretty? Or do you go, wow, I learned a lot from that? Or holy cow, look, this is what it really looks like. And the beauty now of the space station and social media is that I could just go and honestly write. And the beauty of Twitter is it's so short, you have to be honest. Just write what I was thinking and hit send. And then just turn it loose to anybody who might also be curious about the world. And it was amazing, delightful to see the reaction, to see how many people, millions by the time we landed, who were also delighting in what that technological invention allows us to see about ourselves.
And were they getting a bit of that overview effect subtly, subconsciously, like, oh, wait a second, slow down a little bit. Wow, okay, that's all of us. We're all together.
Hopefully as we get older, we all get a little bit of the overview effect. The causal nature of things, the interconnected nature of things. Hopefully we're all students of the human condition, whether we mean to be or not. And as we get a little older, we gain a little perspective and all the overview effect. And the overview effect is not something invented by astronauts. And not everybody necessarily feels what they mean by that the same way. I think what we're truly getting at is a collective understanding of where we are and what it means. And the where we are is the part that we can share the best. What it means is an individual choice. But the more people you meet, the more you understand what battles people are fighting, the more you see the commonality of the human experience itself, I think the more clearly you start to perhaps understand what could be called the overview effect. We just sort of get force-fed it as an astronaut. It's an overview effect at a fire hose. But then the real question, of course, is if you do feel that maybe something has enlightened you a little bit, or if you've had a thought that most people have not, do you just have a secret smile, or do you try and maybe share it with someone you love, or write it down, or take a picture, or with social media, say, hey, here's something really intriguing I thought about. Anybody else ever thought of it this way? And I think shared understanding is what empowers us more than anything.
To watch the rest of this fascinating interview, click on the link below and go to londonrealacademy.com. There you can sign in with your social media, log in and watch the rest of the episode for free, along with all of our episodes on London Real, my webinars, and all of our premium content, all located over at londonrealacademy.com. So click on the link below, you'll be directed there and you can watch the rest of this fascinating interview, and I'll see you there.